Light it up. 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 Light it up.
What is up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome into the Sactown Sports Kings recap, coming to you after the Sacramento Kings take down the Orlando Magic in double overtime. Score 138-135. What a night it was here at Golden One Center. Just ridiculous. I mean, absolutely incredible. I mean, when you have a 2 OT night, you know it's special, but a really weird night where the Orlando Magic, I mean, first and foremost, the thing that sticks out to me is the Orlando Magic are not a three-point shooting team at all, really. And the fact that they knocked down a season-high 25 threes and knocked down 56% of them through regulation. They knocked down 66% of their threes. It's weird to say. I don't think it's the best analysis, but in the way the Kings kind of got unlucky tonight. I mean, the Orlando Magic shot the lights out by their standards. I mean, and there's not a lot you could really do about that. I think the Kings did a good job of running guys off the three-point line. Paolo Banchero definitely got hot in that second half there, and that's going to be tough to stop. He's an elite scorer and a dude who's got a lot of size that can really give the Kings a lot of fits. But I mean, really, yeah, I do truly believe that the Kings just got a little bit unfortunate tonight to get the Orlando Magic's best punch, because if you're building up a game plan to beat this Magic team, it's make them shoot. Like, they have so many long wings, and they're not really a lot of shooters. I mean, you got Paolo Banchero, someone who doesn't typically shoot like he does tonight. Franz Wagner goes out early in this game. You just wouldn't think, if you're building up a strategy for how to beat this Magic team, you're going to want them to shoot as much as possible. And that's what they did. They just made their shots, and you got to tip your cap to them. I mean, they're a really good team this season. They've had a similar upstart to their season like the Kings did last year. But man, I mean, just good on Orlando for hitting that amount of shots. But also the Kings, this is a night where you look at the final stat line for De'Aaron Fox: 15 points, 6 of 22 from the field. That's terrible for De'Aaron Fox standards. I mean, the inefficiency was apparent. He's again kind of gone cold from the perimeter these last couple games. He didn't have it tonight, and the fact that the Kings are able to pick up a win when De'Aaron doesn't have it going on a night, I think that's a really big step for this team. I mean, De'Aaron has definitely been the best player for this team just about every single night. I mean, in my little bottom ticker there, this is the first time all year I haven't had De'Aaron's name included in that top 3 list. And, the other guys took it tonight. I mean, Malik Monk was absolutely incredible. 37 points. That's a season high for him. I mean, really, with the exception of that Clipper game, I don't know if I can think of a better performance that Malik has given. I mean, especially considering coming off the heels of his probably worst performance of the year, maybe even his worst performance as a King yesterday against the Charlotte Hornets, his former team. For him to come out the very following night and have a night like he did, finishes 12 of 20, 7 of 13 from beyond the perimeter, 37 points, 9 assists, and that layup he hit right there, it was literally right there on Giga Bataza. Oh my God, you cannot draw up a better finish for that moment. I mean, the fact that, they first get Bataza in the pick and roll situation, get him switched on to Malik. That's success number one. Malik just takes it right to the hole. You see him almost bring the ball out so Bataze can't touch it. And then to get the scoop finish, I mean, that's special touch. And, Malik has been insane all year, and it was really cool to kind of see him take the reins in the fourth quarter and in overtime as well. De'Aaron took it in that second overtime. I think De'Aaron had 5 in that second overtime. But really, when you're talking about the clutch time and the winning buckets, it was a lot of Malik Monk tonight. And you love to see it. I mean, they're going to have to diversify in the fourth quarter who's going to get the touches. And it was something we actually talked about earlier on the radio show today. And I think it's a really positive sign if this team can get Malik's confidence up in that fourth quarter as well. Obviously, just really big if you can have 2 really impactful guys in closing moments. And I think Malik definitely had himself a statement game tonight. Again, to have this game after less than 24 hours, after having your worst game with this team. That's just big time stuff. And again, on a night where De'Aaron didn't have it and you kind of had to have somebody else step up, Malik was more than capable of doing it and more than ready. So absolutely love that for him. I definitely think you see it in there. I got 3 stars for Malik. I think he was the Kings' best performer tonight. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that, even though saying that Domantas Sabonis, absolutely incredible performance tonight. Just no one could slow him down. 22, 23, and 12. What the hell are we talking about, y'all? Like that, there's, I don't know, it's like 3 people in the NBA right now that can put up a 20, 20, and 12. Obviously, Nikola Jokic is more than capable of doing that, but there's just not a lot of people who are even capable of putting up that kind of stat line. And yeah, you could say it took 2 overtimes to get there, but Sabonis has just been on a ridiculous streak right now when it comes to rebounding the basketball. I think he had what, like 19, 17, and then to have 23 tonight, or he had 21 the other night. It's just been insane. I mean, he's been dominating the boards, and you love to see it. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. And Sabonis as well, getting 12 assists. He had 9 of those just in the second quarter. I thought that was absolutely just ridiculous. Again, just to have 9 assists, no turnovers in the second quarter after having an 11 turnover night yesterday. I just think that's huge. Again, it was just a really good bounce back night after the worst loss of the season. And, you know, again, the reason why I start off the show tonight also talking about the Orlando Magic and their 3-point shooting. Let me also check the chat here, make sure everything's going solid. As we know, I've had many an audio issue in the past, so I just wanted to make sure everything's running. Looks like everything's good, y'all. What a concept. What a concept.
Go Kings, dude.
Go
I'm
Kings,
out of here.
dude.
Go
Nate's
Kings.
out of here.
Great game.
What
See
a
you
night.
tomorrow, Styles and Watkins, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Yes.
They kept us here late.
They
Double
did.
OT. What's their problem?
Doesn't matter. They don't
They
care
made their
about
free
us.
throws, maybe, but
Bro,
no,
I'm
go
telling
Kings.
you.
We'll stay positive. We'll stay positive.
Yeah, they did miss 10 free throws. I didn't even clock that.
Well, they missed 10. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
This isn't my show. See you guys.
Shout out Nate. I don't know if y'all saw. He's making promo videos and taking pictures for us. So if you saw him hovering around, that's what that was. But no, I mean, the reason why I mentioned the Orlando Magic 3-point shooting tonight is mainly because this is ridiculous. The Magic had 10 more made threes. Sorry, I have to kind of look up and break my neck to look at the scoreboard here. They had 10 more threes than the Kings did. Do the math. That's 30 points, a 30-point advantage that the Magic had just from the 3-point line. And the fact that the Kings were able to stabilize that and, you know, hit, I would not, Nate just put it there. They did not shoot well at the line tonight, finished 68%, but to go enough to the line to hit 21 free throws and match the Magic at the line. And frankly, I mean, also a number that not a lot of people I saw talking about tonight, points in the paint. They finished, the Kings do, with a 66-24 advantage in the paint. And again, if you're making a game plan for this Magic team, it's keep them out of the paint, keep them from getting easy buckets, and make them into a shooting basketball team. And the Magic did it. They were able to meet that challenge tonight. So I really I do think the Kings were a little unlucky to have to battle as hard as they did to get the win tonight. But this is the NBA, man, and this is what makes second nights and back-to-back so tough. And it also sucks that the Kings lost last night, because this would have been an even sweeter victory to talk about if we could have been mentioning the fact that this is also, you know, coming off a back-to-back, and the Kings have struggled so mightily with back-to-backs this year. This would have been a really, really great moment. You know, I don't know if you could consider this a turn point moment. And the disappointing thing is also the Kings' next back-to-back is against the Hornets and then the Pistons. So, you know, that's, you know, the Kings are almost expected to take care of that back-to-back. It doesn't really hold the same kind of weight that I think it would have if they could have taken care of business yesterday and then again today. But nonetheless, you know, you still win on the second night of a back-to-back. First time this season the Kings have done that. It was also the first time this season the Kings have lost on the first night of a back-to-back. But nonetheless, still got the job done. It's been a struggle for this team all season long. Now, I guess the new challenge is figuring out how to bring it together and how to win both games. But I thought from a back-to-back perspective, I mean, they really didn't have the things that have ailed them throughout this season on the second night of back-to-backs. They shot relatively well. I mean, again, second nights of back-to-back, I think they're at 28% from three on those nights. So they finished 38%. Definitely not to the Kings' highest standard, but good enough to get it done. Yeah, and I just think that's a major thing for this team in general is just these back-to-backs, because it's one of those things that I just really think great teams have figured out a little bit. And yes, I see tons of people in the chat. I am also very confused. I wish I can give you an answer on what happened in the last moments of this game in that second overtime when Paolo Banchero was stripped by JTA. Shout out JTA, who checks in overtime when the game is on the line and is just asked to go guard Paolo Banchero, who's got 40-something points at that point. And JTA, I thought, did a really good job. He got blown by, I think, on that last one where Trey Lyles ended up getting a charge drawn on him. But I thought JTA, again, for being asked to be put into that moment, did about as well as you can. He got the strip, made the play. Just unfortunately, I mean, Mike Brown didn't have the challenge. We've talked on these post-game live streams about why it's so important to just kind of pocket those challenges until the fourth quarter. It's every coach, even in the NFL, has their own kind of strategy of how they approach using their challenges. But this is a prime example of why I would personally much rather end the game with a challenge in my pocket, knowing if a moment arises, I could have used that challenge instead of having a moment like tonight where you're sat there saying the game could have been swung on a decision like that. Some would say that it was a makeup call. I did see, I didn't get a great view of it from where I was sitting, but I did hear the Trey Lyles charge was a little bit of a favorable call to the Kings. So who knows, maybe there's a little bit of makeup call action there, but don't really know what to do with that, man. That was a really confusing moment, really confusing play. And I don't know, man. I just sometimes the NBA, we know NBA and officiating can be a dicey subject. So, I do think it was a bit of a makeup call for them to not look at that. I'm pretty sure that the NBA is just kind of supposed to call that on their own and look to Secaucus to make that call. But nonetheless, Kings get the result and get through the adversity of all that stuff. Actually, I think now that I'm thinking about it, that was in the first overtime because I'm remembering Paolo Banchero getting that lay-in right here on that nice cut. Shout out the Magic, man, too, because, again, they didn't have Franz Wagner for a majority of this game. Paolo Banchero, man, for being in his second year, that dude's going to be a problem. He can really score from just about everywhere. He's a huge body. He can get to the rim. He's going to be an issue in this league for sure. And if he's going to be matched up with Franz Wagner, if they can figure out, I mean, Orlando's got a lot of talented young guards. If they can kind of condense that or consolidate that into another piece, I can definitely see how this team's going to be a problem in the Eastern Conference for a while. Let's see here. Is there anything else on tonight that I wanted to touch on? How about that Keegan Murray 3, y'all? Oh my gosh. That might have been one of the most impressive shots I've seen Keegan Murray hit his entire career. Mainly because let me look at mainly because it didn't feel like he even really touched the ball offensively for a long period of time, and then to just kind of get hot potatoed that ball in that moment and to come up with that shot and be ready to hit that shot is big time stuff. Let me see here. So Keegan ended the game with 21 shots. Finish, sorry, as you have to hear me crumple my papers. 19 shots. So he took 2 shots in overtime. Took 3 shots. Took 3 shots in the overtime periods. And yeah, I mean, really, he took 2 shots from the third quarter. Yeah, wow. So he really didn't touch the ball that much post third quarter. And again, for him to just be ready to take that deep 3 to put the team up, that's huge. And that's exactly what they want Keegan to do. Also, before he hit that 3, I thought it was really impressive. Keegan's night tonight, the fact he had 25 points or 28 he finishes with, but before that 3, he had 25 points on only 1 made 3. That tells you the development of Keegan Murray's game. Like, last year he was so perimeter centric, almost solely perimeter centric. And that's been the big talking point of this year is him, if he gets ran off the line, the ability to put the ball on the floor and take that mid-range jump shot or maybe even drive to the paint. We saw him get a couple dunks and a couple finishes at the rim earlier in this game. That's Keegan kind of developing and figuring out how to be a scorer without just being a shooter. I think sometimes the line gets blurred a little bit between scorers and shooters, and Keegan definitely is a scorer, is capable of being a high-level scorer. We've seen him be a high-level shooter, but the development is going to come when Keegan starts to get a wide array of buckets, and hopefully he can start to get to the line with some consistency. The fact that, I think he went through 6 quarters of basketball tonight and didn't go to the free throw line once. That's kind of the next stage of development. But I thought it was a great game from Keegan, and that's why he's getting 1 star, is again for that massive, massive shot, but also just the array of buckets that he was able to get on pretty efficient shooting as well. Wow, and you know what? This was a stat that I was not expecting the game to finish with, but I'm glad I get to make this note. The Orlando Magic finished tonight, again, talking about their three-pointers. Orlando Magic finished tonight hitting 25 threes. You want to know how many two-pointers they hit? 21. No, even less. I'm sorry. No, they hit 19. They hit 19 two-point shots. Wow. So how about that? That is not something you see often, especially from the Orlando Magic, is they hit more threes than twos and finished with 12 points in the paint, 12 of 34 in the paint finishing. I'm telling y'all, like, the Kings actually played a really good game, especially when if you were to consider it from what the game plan probably was heading into tonight. I'm pleased. I think it's unfortunate that the game had to kind of get as close as it was and end how it was. I mean, the Kings did have a pretty marginal lead. I should mention they had a 16-point lead at one point in this game, but again, Orlando shot 56 freaking percent from 57 is now what I'm seeing up here. 57% from 3. So, that's gonna and they hit 25 of them. So that's just gonna lead to a ton of points, and that's closing the gap on how bad or how much better I think the Kings were. Again, when you get a 30-point advantage in the 3-point department, that's pretty significant. And that's usually more times than not. Like, that's going to be the result of the game. It's almost impossible to be outscored from 3 by 30 points and still end up getting the result. So I'm going to say this is a really, really good win for this Kings team, and probably one they realistically shouldn't have gotten. But I'll definitely take it. I will definitely take it. We will be joining y'all. Let me look here. January 5th is the next Kings game against the Toronto Raptors. I don't think that'll be I think that'll be on Friday, and then the Kings will also play on Sunday. Let me get that right, as I'm sure everybody is smarter than me and definitely knows the Kings schedule. They will play Friday and Sunday. No, I was right. Friday and then Sunday against the New Orleans Pelicans. Those damn New Orleans Pelicans yet again. I'll be joining you after those games. If you want, you can check me out from 10 to 2 on Styles and Watkins on Sactown Sports 1140. And you can also check me out on Twitter at Chris M. Watkins. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you all enjoyed the game. I hope your heart rates have since settled. And I hope the beam looks great, because it's been a while. It feels like it's been, I know it was on New Year's, I guess, is the last time we got to see the beam, but I don't know, man. That Charlotte game took some years off my life, and it feels like I can use some beam right now. So I'm gonna go check that thing out. I hope y'all have a fantastic night, and I'm glad that thing is lit. Y'all have a great one. See you on Friday.